Doctor Who had been absent from British television for 9 years when, in 2005, the Time Lord and his favourite mode of transport rematerialised, courtesy of Russell T Davies and BBC Wales. Now, he was the 9th Doctor, and he was played by Christopher Eccleston. This new era of the BBC science fiction television series had a new Tardis prop, and it was designed by Colin Richmond. If the Newbery Box carries the unfortunate title of least police box-like of the classic era of Doctor Who, then the first Richmond Box carries it for the new era. It was as tall as the real thing, but it was wider, and it had a particularly boxy look. Its panels and windows were large, lending to it a cartoonish appearance, and the height of those windows, with so little between them and the lintels, made it seem to be frowning and bad-tempered. However, the roof pyramid was an improvement over the shallower pyramids of the past, and the stacks were taller, although, like every television prop before it, it did not have the proper number of stacks. The windows did have the frosted glass panels of yore, although they were not so easy to see, and these were in their proper place. But still no blue-tinted panes. The lintel signs were wider than at any time in Doctor Who prop history, and the lamp differed in design from what had come before. There is also the telephone hatch, more specifically, the wording, but we shall come to that shortly. But it was this, the first Richmond Box, that for many was the first time they had seen a police box, and they watched as it stood over Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant, the popular 10th Doctor. It reappeared in the 50th anniversary special, where it was also the box of the War Doctor, played by John Hurt. For the 11th and 12th Doctors, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi respectively, the Richmond Box was given a makeover. The new showrunner, Stephen Moffat, wanted the prop to echo the appearance of that of the first Doctor. Viewers saw the return of the white window frames and the St. John's Ambulance logo, aspects of the Brahatsky box not seen since the William Hartnell and Peter Cushing days. However, the prop's dimensions and overall design did not differ much from the first Richmond Box. It was still broader than the real police box, and for some reason the prop makers had gone to a great deal of effort to make it look as if it had been built out of wood. With the exception of the initial Mackenzie Trench prototype, real police boxes of the Tardis type were built of concrete. The idea of stressing its wooden appearance was carried over to the third Tardis prop of the new era. This was the box of the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and it was designed by Arwell Wynne-Jones. It is one of the more accurate props. It is smaller than the Richmond props, and it is the only box in Doctor Who television history, over half a century, to have the correct number of stacks. These stacks are not as tall as those of the real police box, but their number makes the Arwell Wynne-Jones box stand out, as does the narrower and more accurate lintel signs. The steps above the doors have reappeared, taking away the frowny look of the Richmond Box. And there is the text on the telephone hatch. But before we go there, let's take note of the curiosities of this prop. The telephone hatch handle is on the opposite side of the hatch, like that of the 1996 television movie prop. There are odd indentations or notches at the tops and bottoms of the corner posts, which do not seem to serve any purpose. The window panes do not appear to have any frosted or pebbled glass, and the lamp is different and even has a blue tint. Then we come to the wording on the telephone hatch sign. Although the text and background colours are not accurate, the wording is. both Richmond boxes have the wrong words. All calls, not the more proper, urgent calls of the classic era and the authentic police boxes. The Arwell Wynne-Jones prop has the correct wording and uses officers, plural, rather than officer, singular, a mistake that has a lineage as old as the Newbery Box. So, police boxes and Doctor Who. We have examined the classic era Tardis props, the movie props, and now the new era props. We have found accuracy in surprising places, and we have seen how the props have differed from one another over the course of 6 decades. I have my favourites, and I'm sure you have yours, and if Doctor Who has a future, then it will be interesting to see how this design legacy of Gilbert Mackenzie Trench develops.